All right, so today in our live, we're talking about the importance of the immune system, especially in the days that we're living in now. Learning and knowing about our immune system is more important than it ever has been, right? And so this conversation is a really important one to have. So starting out really basic, what exactly is the immune system? The immune system is just a complex network of cells and organs that work together to defend the body from infection, all right? Main parts are white blood cells, antibodies, lymphatic system, spleen, bone marrow, and the thymus, okay? So the immune system is also known as the silent defender. So our heart beats, we can hear that, we know that's happening. Oftentimes we're unaware of our immune system working. It's a very, very complex system. And so that kind of goes unidentified by us and we're unaware of it. So we have a few lines of defense when it comes to the immune system. The first line of defense is something called the innate immunity, okay? Innate immunity, and that is something that you're born with. That is the protective organisms that come with you when you enter into the world. That's your skin, that's a chemical barrier, okay? Our skin acts like a barrier to infection. That's kind of a simple one to be able to understand. It also secretes fatty acids and enzymes. And these fatty acid, main one's called oleic acid, can kill certain bacteria, and the enzyme lysozyme can break down the outer layer of certain bacteria. So our skin, being that first line, is a really important barrier for us, okay? We also have internal barriers, which are our mucous membranes, okay? That's your respiratory and your gastrointestinal. We have these mucous membranes. And those mucous membranes, they're always being renewed. And they trap those tiny particles to prevent them from attaching to the cells. And that's why, like when we breathe in certain pathogens and things like that, we'll sneeze to get it out of the body. That's the body's natural response. It gets caught in the mucous membranes and then we can excrete it out. The second innate is the chemical barrier. Okay, so if the bad guys, these pathogens, actually get past the protective barrier and get into the internal tissue, they can get attacked by a variety of chemical substances trying to prevent them from growing, okay? That's that next line of defense. The last process of the innate immune response is called the early induced response, and this is actually inflammation. Now, most people, when they hear the word inflammation, they think negative, right? We hear, we need to prevent inflammation. Inflammation in your body is a bad thing, all of this thing. And it's true, like all of that's true. But inflammation actually has the ability to eliminate an infection or hold it in check while the body is making the needed immune response to it so that it can fight it. So there is a good inflammation. There is an inflammation that helps us, but then there's also the inflammation that when it becomes chronic in the body, it can actually become chronic disease for our body. So, you have to weigh the good with the bad there. Signs of inflammation would be pain, swelling, redness, fever. Again, we want to stay away from that chronic inflammation, but sometimes that initial natural inflammation that body can give us can actually be very, very helpful, especially for our immune system response. All right, second line of defense. You have the innate system, and then you have your second line, which is acquired immunity. This is where it gets good, okay? Acquired immunity. You are not born with this, okay? But you acquire it through exposure to pathogens. So you actually need to be exposed to a pathogen for your body to have this acquired immunity, okay? You can get this through exposure, just through germs, or exposure to another person's antibodies. Okay, so once a person has a certain illness, we get an illness, their body learns to recognize it and can make their immune system better equipped to handle this when they come in contact with it in the future, which of course we will, right? Acquired immunity is dependent on specialized white blood cells called lymphocytes. Okay, lymphocytes are the cells that make it possible for the body to distinguish and react to an infinite number of foreign substances. Okay, so we need those lymphocytes, those white blood cells. They originate from stem cells in the bone marrow, and they can travel and multiply whenever they're stimulated. Okay, so there's two different kinds of lymphocytes though. Okay, two different kinds. You have your B cells and your T cells. Both of them come from the bone marrow, but they go to different places. Okay, so the B cells stay in the bone marrow, but then the lymphocytes that go out, they go into the thymus and they become T cells. Okay, and they do different things. So B cells, their job is to make antibodies. And those are proteins produced by the immune system to fight bad invaders known as antigens, right? So our B cells are those, they create that memory in your body. They're creating those antibodies. Now, each B cell's job, each one, and there's a lot of them, is to make a specific antibody. And each antibody matches an antigen, and the antigen is then destroyed. Okay, so you've got this whole thing happening in your body where you've got these antibodies being made to these specific antigens that are coming into your body. And then this memory is created where whenever that antigen happens again in the body, the body's going to remember what it took to kill that, already have an antibody for it, and be able to take care of it. It's pretty phenomenal. Very grateful for the B cells. Now, the T cells are grateful for those too because their job is to help the body kill cancer cells and control the immune system, okay? They destroy cells in the body that have been taken over by viruses or become cancerous. So those, of course, are very, very important. And there's even more different categories in the T cells. So what we're exposed to really dictates our acquired immunity. Few examples of this. If you've ever traveled outside of your, places you've traveled before, you're going to a brand new place and you come down you start reacting to the environment, seasonal allergies, watery eyes, itchy, whatever it may be, you've never been to that place before. You're responding negatively to some pathogens in the air, right? Because you've never been in that environment before. Your body's never come in contact with that environment before. Now, when you re-enter that environment a second time, you probably won't have that same kind of immune response to it because your body's learned it, right? Your body's already learned that response. Another example would be, how we all just throughout life continue to get colds or we'll catch the flu or different things like that. And that's because the flus and colds all have many different strains to them, okay? And so you can't just say, well, I got a cold once and I'm going to have immunity to that now. No, because of all the different strains. Now, we may have the same symptoms in our body, but because of all the different strains, though, in the body, our body has to, again, go through the process of creating antibodies to those different strains, okay? So when I'm a mom of 4, of course, and so when my babies tend to go through a time period where they're really building their immune systems, right? It's usually about more towards the end of their first year into the 2s and 3s, okay? Depending also on, are they in daycare? Are they at home with you? Do you go to the park often? Do you see other families often? Things like that. What is their exposure level to the world and the environment? But they go through a period of time where they get sick often. I think one of my children, she had a cold for runny nose for a month or so. But that was she just kind of kept getting little things, nothing severe, but that was just her immune system building, and she was coming in contact with these different pathogens, and her body was building up those antibodies, and now the girl barely ever gets sick. So, anytime you have that, especially with young children, don't be afraid, don't be alarmed. It's actually their immune system building, as long as it's not detrimental, obviously, to their health. But they need to come in contact with germs. They need to come in contact with these things, or their immune systems just won't be as strong, right? So everyone is different. The immune system varies from person to person. So no one will have the same kind of immune system, all right? We all have similar innate responses, right? That's what you're born with, your skin, those chemical barriers. But our acquired immunity is all going to be different, okay? Studies have shown that where you live and with whom you live is responsible for about 60 to 80% of the differences between the immune systems, and the genetics that you're born with account for the rest. So your environment has a lot to do, and the people that you live with have a lot to do with building up that acquired immunity, okay? So we also have two immune responses that can happen in the body. You can have an overactive immune system and you can have an underactive immune system. And neither one of those is good, okay? So when you have an overactive immune system, you have two things that are happening. You can get allergies and then you can get autoimmune disease, okay? Allergies happen when the immune system makes an overly strong response to allergens. Okay, so your body just has kind of a overwhelming response to what's coming in. This can lead to having food allergies. You can have allergies to medications from this, insect bites, anaphylaxis, hay fever, sinus infections, asthma, hives, eczema, those kinds of things. And those are actually the most common overactive immune responses that we see, right? The doctors see. Then you have autoimmune disease, which is much more concerning, and that is actually when the immune system is attacking the body. Okay, so we do not want this, right? We don't want we want the immune system to be healthy enough to attack what's coming in, not attack what's already there. So this leads to type 1 diabetes, autoimmune thyroid issues, multiple sclerosis, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, all things like that. And then when you have an underactive immune system, that's when you're immunodeficient, right? So when you're immunodeficient, your immune system does not function correctly, and it makes the body really open to infections. Okay, so zero immune system, the body's not functioning correctly, we're not creating B cells, T cells, antibodies, none of that's working together. Okay, that's very, very scary, and that's very, very scary for people right now who are immunodeficient, where they're very vulnerable. This can be inherited, or it can come from medical treatments or other diseases that you have, okay, can make you immunodeficient. So let's talk a little practically about ways to boost and care for your immune system. Okay, and this is for people that have overactive, underactive, or that just want to make sure their immune system's humming and running really, really well. Okay, and these are all basically things you're going to know already, but sometimes we don't do the things that we know, right? So you want to eat a really clean diet. Diet is probably the number one thing that you could do that's good for your body, right? You want to eat green leafies. You want to eat organic. You want to eat fresh, clean food. Stay away as much as you can from packaged. You want the majority of your diet to come from things from the earth, right? Really good organic sources of protein, healthy fats, fruits and vegetables, and limit the packaged items, and especially limit the processed foods and sugars, okay? Really important. Exercise. You want to move your body. And I recommend you move your body every day, whether that's I count cleaning your house as activity. So, it is exercise for me. So, moving your body in some way, going for a walk, walking your dog, playing with your kids, having a dance party in the living room, doing yoga. There's lots of opportunities to do online workouts now. I've really been enjoying working out at home. And so I've done that for years. Moving your body, super important, especially for your lymph, okay, moving that around. Maintaining a healthy weight, and that's tying into the healthy eating and the exercise, right? Maintaining a healthy weight actually helps to alleviate some of the pressure and stress on your system, and your immune system will be able to function more properly. Limit your alcohol consumption. That actually decreases your immune system. I'm not saying you can't drink alcohol. I'm just saying you need to really, really limit that. It shouldn't be a daily indulgence. It should be a once in a while thing that you can do. Getting really good sleep. Sleep is where our body renews and rejuvenates, and we have to be getting the correct amount of sleep, or our body won't have the energy and the ability to renew. The cells won't be able to renew, and the body will continue to be under stress. Okay, really important. Wash your hands. We were hearing that all the time now. Just do it. Wash your hands. I've never washed my hands so much. They're even getting a little dry, and I have to get my yarrow palm oil out and put them all over my hands. Minimize stress. We have the opportunity now to to be at home where we can minimize more of our stress levels. And so I really recommend that you do that, because stress is the precursor to opening up the body for lots of different issues, okay? It keeps your cortisol high, it keeps your body running at such a high level that it will burn out, and that's never a good thing, okay? Drinking lots and lots of water is really important. Our body's mostly made up of water, and if we're not feeding that, then nothing's going to be able to function well at all. Some things to think about: if you're not able to eat, and most of us aren't, including myself, the perfect diet, okay? So you want to be taking really good high quality supplements. It's really, really important, because you don't want to become malnourished. I was malnourished at one point in my life, and nothing was functioning well in my body, including my immune system. So you want to make sure that you're getting the vitamins and the minerals and all the things that you need, especially for our elderly population, because they're eating less than we are, and they're probably eating the same thing, so they're not getting a wide variety in their diet. So making sure that you're getting that. The things that we're most deficient in our culture, in our world, are zinc, selenium, iron, copper, folic acid, and vitamins A, B6, C, and E. And those really, really affect your immune system. So make sure that you are taking that multivitamin along with eating a really good, nutrient-rich diet. Taking also what I like to do along with my multivitamin is I like to drink a scoop of greens powder. I have a favorite one. I can't remember the name of it right now, but you can put it in your smoothies. That's the way that I like to take it. People that are really hardcore can just put a scoop in some water and take that down. I'm not as hardcore. But that's a great way to feed your body and give it what it needs for detoxing and boosting your system up. So join me here on Sunday. I'm going to do another lead in to still talking about immune system, but what are some of the other supplements and oils and different things that we can use right now to help boost and support our systems. Okay, hope to see you guys on Sunday.